Hi guys, so today I'm going to try out the new Anna Griffin pop-up bouquet card dies. I already kind of played with the card set. Actually, let me grab that card and I'll show it to you in just a minute. But if it's still available, I'll have it linked in the description box, this set. Those would be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items to those links. So let me grab this card. And so it's basically the same kind of mechanism, the same thing, but you're going to have a die to do that for you, and then this larger die that cuts out the base of the card, and then we have these flowers. Funny enough, these flowers, I'm going to take the packaging off in just a second, is very similar. They look are very similar, I guess is what I'm looking for, to these guys that I was kind of fighting with. I don't know when I'm going to release this video, because, you know, but I still have them sitting here, and they're similar, but not quite, because these have 2 layers. Sometimes makes things a little more problematic, a little harder to use, but I'm just going to do the 2 layers. I'm not going to fuss with it. We'll do the embossing and go with that. But these guys, yeah, they're just very impressionistic, I guess, is some of you guys. It kind of makes me laugh because it reminds me of, you know, I'm in my 40s, and I grew up watching, you know, Clueless, and that was like my favorite movie. Probably still one of my favorite movies, Bo, and she says that she's a full-on Monet, right? She's like, from far away she looks okay, but up close it's a total mess. And I think that's the thing, because here in my hand, I'm looking at this, and I'm like, it just looks crazy. But in the video or in the pictures, it looked really good. So, I don't know. It's kind of interesting thing. So, we'll try it again, like I said, to a lot of the commenters. I got a lot of comments on this video. I'm going to try it again, because the other thing is that had an auto ship, and I don't want to lose the auto ship because I like the flowers that are coming up next, and I'm like, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, they're not super easy. And welcome to my channel if you're new. I know there's a lot of new people because people have been leaving me comments about not taking the plastic off on camera because it bothers them, I suppose. And that's just what I do, guys. That's how my channel is. That's my shtick here. I don't prepare things. I don't really look at them other if, you know, if it's a haul like this or any other review. If I get items for review from companies, I open it right here with you guys and I get to it, and that's just how it is. So, welcome to my channel if you like that kind of thing. If not, you know, I mean, there's other channels that are, I assume, more polished or the way they do their things. I don't do it that way. I open it, work with it, and then we go from there. And so, you're going to hear plastic opening, and you're going to hear plastic quite often. And then what else? Oh, people have asked me how to pronounce my name. It's VianneyCreates, and it's Vianney. I don't know. That's all I can say. All right, guys, so welcome. Thanks for being here. Yeah, so we're going to try these out. You know, this kind of thing is difficult for me because I don't know, like, you know, okay, here she has the pattern paper, and then she has this pretty gold paper, but of course you had to cut this flower to make it, because there's only 2 dies, right? 2 die layers. The background and then the pretty one here on top. So, you know, I don't know. I might keep it simple today because we're going to work on this as far as, obviously, we need to get the mechanism going. It's not difficult. I already learned some even better from having made this guy, right? So really, when you open it, the only thing I know, and I said it moves, or kind of, you know, it's a pop out, but it moves in this way. I don't know if you see that. It just kind of comes out here, but this one doesn't do much. It's kind of, it brings it out. It brings it forward. It doesn't move like this front one does. And maybe this guy right here, which, you know, I did as the instruction said, and you can barely even see him back there. I should turn him a little bit differently. But if you turn him differently, he's going to be sticking out. Possibly. It just depends. So we'll know how to work with that already since we worked on this guy. Now, yeah, so we're just going to basically make our own bouquets that'll slide in there. So that's what this is all about. Let's look at the instructions. Not too much instruction, but again, you're going to take the card base. Now this cuts, I think, a 5-inch card is what, I think I measured it during the haul video. Oh, 5.5. So 5.5 inches. So if you want to pop this into another card that's like a 6-inch base, you know, you're going to have a 1/4 inch all around. That might be probably what we're going to do today. This is not the card base by itself, though, because you're going to want the outer one to be a little bit larger, I would think. I don't know. It just says here, create a card layer 10.5 by 5. Mark the center, top, and bottom. Okay, so she's recommending to make it 10.5 by 5. Did I just measure this? And it was... This is 5.5. Oh, interesting. I thought this piece was going to do this for you, that you're going to pop this in here, because I think that's what Anne has shown. I've watched the little HSM presentation since then, and that's what she said, but apparently that's not what we're doing. Okay. So anyway, this is cutting. Yeah, that's so interesting. Okay, well, we'll talk about that in just a minute. We have all our pieces, and we'll look at those in a minute. Flowers and shadow layers, and I'm just going to keep it super basic so that we know what to do. I'm not trying to dress this up in any way other than having the 2 layers of the shadow base and then the pretty, you know, layer. And then some scrolls, of course, like she has here. And, yeah, we're just going to go through all this. It's pretty easy. I do appreciate that she has a lot of information here for... You don't need, I don't think, this much instruction. So this hopefully is very clear. And then just where you're going to put the pieces. And the last time I did this, I put the glue on my pieces on this one, and I popped them in where I wanted to because that's pretty much what the instructions were saying. What they're showing you here is that that's where you're going to put glue, like don't put glue back here, or that's where you're going to glue things to, right? So embellishments get applied to left side of the pop-up supports shown in red. They're not saying to put glue all over that because what happens is there's some areas where you're not going to actually put anything, and if you have glue all over it, it's going to look bad. On top of that, it might stick your card together, right? So who knows? I didn't do it that way, and I know a few people had commented, oh, to put glue all over so you can just, but that's not going to work, guys. It's just, all she's saying here in this, and it looks just like the other instructions for the other pop-up, is that is where you're going to put your pieces, not that you're going to cover it in glue, okay? Her covering in glue is here. This does show that, but anyway. And then our other pieces, and like I mentioned, maybe you want to put foam adhesive, maybe you want to just glue it down. However, I use glue because I like glue, and that's what I do. So you do whatever you like to do, of course. That'll work. So what I'm going to do is grab 2 papers, because we need the paper that is going to be on the inside of the card. This piece, basically, this kind of matte layer that holds, that actually does the pop-up for us. And then you need your outer card. So let me grab, I guess, some Anna Griffin paper, and we'll get started. Okay, guys. So for our card base, I'm using this color, and I'm probably going to pop in a cream colored card base. Again, you can do 2 patterns, or whatever you want, of course, because yeah, it's what you want. So what's interesting is this die is 5.5 inches by 11. So it's going to make you a 5.5 inch square card. I'm not going to bring out one of my larger machines to get this cut because I just don't want to. So again, this is 11 inches by 5.5, and that's what it's going to give you, a 5.5 inch card base. This is the die to just make your card base, okay? On step 2, what they're asking you to do is just cut down some paper, the piece that's going to go inside of here, the piece that you're actually going to use for the pop-up, and cut that to 10.5 by 5, which is kind of weird because when you fold that in half, it's going to be 5 by 5.25. But I'm going to do what she says because I know sometimes people have questions, or they'll tell me, why didn't you do what she said, and all that kind of stuff, especially the first time out. Like those other flowers, I was like, I'm just going to do what she said because they're weird shapes and I didn't want to mess that up. And, you know, it came out okay. So I'm going to cut this paper down. This is some 12-inch paper, of course. And again, I'm going to cut this down to make a 5.5 inch card base. So it's going to be 5.5 inches by 11. Okay, so I will be right back. Really quick on this one. I wanted it to look kind of the same because we're doing a 5.5 inch card base, which is kind of odd. She usually does 6 inches. That's why I think whenever she mentioned it, she just did it differently, okay, in the presentation. But anyway, I wanted it to look about the same, like where I go to cut it. So I did cut off a little bit. I went 5 3/4 inches in, and I took a 1/4 inch off the other side. So it's kind of similar. You see what I'm saying? Like the amount here to here. I mean, it's a little bit different, but it would have been way different if I didn't cut this little piece off. So this is 5.5 by 12 still. What I'm going to do is score it at 6 inches and then take off the end. Because there is definitely a center on this, right? If I just take off an inch, it's going to be not centered anymore. And you can take off 1/2 inch on either end. I'm just going to do it one time as a card, so it's just nice and perfect for me. So I'm going to grab this. I'm going to score it at 6 inches. And basically right down the center of this image, almost. A little bit off. But again... And then I'm going to take this to my guillotine and cut it the 1/2 inch off. So it's 5.5 inches, okay? Again, it'll be 11 by 5.5. I'll be right back. So this is the card base that this die would have cut if I used the die. But again, I didn't feel like using the die. And if you only have a smaller machine, you don't want to use that die, then that'll work, right? Because we don't, you wouldn't have a use for it. But, so we have our 5.5 inch square card base. And now on step 2, they're saying you need this 10.5-inch one, right? I think this is A2 size paper. Actually, I think this is A4 size paper. So I'm just going to cut to 11 inches. I'm sorry, what'd you say? 10.5. 10.5 on this side. Yeah. 10.5 by 5. 5 inches. And then of course she says, this is what's interesting. She says mark the center, top, and bottom at 5 1/4. So they're not saying to go ahead and score it because you're going to use this to score it. And then we have, of course, all our beautiful dies. So I'm just going to do what she says. So here we have that inner piece of paper, and she says to mark it at, I'm trying to look for a pencil, guys. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1/4. Unfortunately, this new mat I have only has the 1/4 inches like way up here or way down here. So I'm going to bring this down here and I'm going to mark the 1/4. Okay. Sorry, guys. So, yeah, I noticed that later. I was like, oh, this thing doesn't have the 1/4 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1/4. Should be like right here. And just going to flip it. And I'll show you what I'm doing. Just 5 1/4 over here too. And hopefully that's straight enough. All I did was make a little mark there, a little mark here. And let's just see that I marked it in the right area. And just about. Just about. And of course I could have just used a ruler. Okay, I'm just going to make sure these marks are exactly at 5 1/4 because I don't want to have to do this again. So that one's perfect. Okay, I'll be right back. That was pretty good. I just want to double check. Alright, now we're going to take this big guy. And of course we're going to run this through. You're going to have to use a machine that you hopefully have that can do something that width, right? Because we're using the paper. Place the pop-up die in the center of the card. Align the vertical score line with the marks on the cardstock. Tape in place and die cut and emboss, of course. Now, my marks are here. And, you know, can you see them? Not really. I feel like I should put it on this other side because then I can see. It doesn't really matter which side of my paper this cuts into. So I'd rather start it here and be able to see that. Very interesting. Again, this is a little bit larger, so that's why I feel like you can get away with making your card base larger, you know. I'm using the instructions, you guys. So let me just show you. This is a 1, 2, okay, 2, 4, 5. It's about 5 1/2, maybe almost 5 3/4, this whole thing. So I am going to line it up from back here, though, just so I can see that and see this, and I'm going to tape it that way. And that way it'll also cover up those pencil marks. So I'm going to tape this down. And then tape this other one. It already looks crooked, doesn't it? Not crooked, but I mean like, well, I guess you guys can't see that part. Where's the line? Is the line over here? Okay, yeah. So the line's over here. Okay, I'm going to run this through my machine. I'll probably use my Aqua 6 here, my Spellbinders machine. Now at this point it doesn't really matter even if you did this other way because all I had to do is turn your paper, unless your paper has a direction, right? So just put it on here. I'm still doing it the way she's showing, but if this was this way it wouldn't matter because all you're going to do is glue into your card the other way when you're done. So just going to run this through. I'll be right back. I was going to say to run it through and emboss it. I just want to see how well the marks are on there. You know what? It's embossed pretty well. I don't think I have to rerun it. But if you want to run it through, again, if with a machine like this one, with the rubber embossing mat, you know, go for it. I'm going to put this away. I'll be right back. Okay. So that was step 3. And step 4 just says to flip the card layer over. So we're going to put glue all over the back and then we're going to stick it down. So again, a lot of steps, really well written out. So that's great. Okay. So we have this. It looks something like this. You have our score lines, you know, all that. Okay. So it looks like this. What's funny is it says flip card layer over, but she's still showing it like this, which is fine. So now we're going to flip it over and we're going to apply adhesive all over this except for this one area. Now I'm going to use glue, a wet glue, because that's what I like to use. But I kind of want to make this more noticeable, my score line, at least here and here, just so I can kind of see what's going on. And we are going to put glue. Let me get a little closer. What I like is that you can see these lines pretty well. So we're going to put glue all over this, all over on this side, really close, because I kind of want to keep that going. And then she shows that you even want to come in here. I'm just looking at the picture. And just framing out this area, basically. Through here. Okay, and I'm getting as close as I can, and then to the edges. All the way over. And again over here, all the way to my edges. And this, avoiding those areas. Just pretty much where your score lines are, right? You want to avoid those. But getting as close as you can all over. I want to get a little closer here. Okay. I didn't put glue in there because I don't need to. Now we're supposed to bring this over. And this is so interesting. I don't know that I really want that as my card front, but that's okay. Let me see. Do my flowers have a certain direction? It's an interesting one. Okay. Flip the card layer back over is step number 6, and adhere to card base. Make sure the score line on the card are the same, right? So that's kind of why I give it a little bend, because I wanted to be able to see that better. And we're just going to lay that right in there. So that's very much like the other card that we did. And we're putting that right in there. Okay, very good. I guess that's what... Whenever I do a card base that's inside another card, sometimes I forget, like, you don't need it to be a certain, or you need it to be a certain size or whatever. So that's why she said 10.5 by 5 on step 2, because you only need that 1/4 inch taken off of here, and you need a whole 1/2 inch right from the top and the bottom. That's why the number didn't really make sense, but it makes sense once you do it. Okay. And again, step 6 has 2 pictures, because she's basically saying make sure that score line is on the score line from the card base, which I think I did pretty good there. Okay, I'm going to let this set up for just a second, because in the next one we're going to pull up the supports and then fold the pop-up card flat so that we know everything's good to go, just like in the other pop-up videos. So I'm just going to wait a minute just to make sure everything is just kind of adhered and not going to give me problems. So funny, this is pearlescent paper from Crafter's Companion. You can see right through it, which I've never noticed before. That's odd, huh? Anyway, I'll be back. Okay, guys. So we're just going to get in here just like in the other video. We're going to pop these guys up. And I'm using this because it has a little skinny edge that I can kind of get in there. And basically you're going to score it on the score line. So once I have this guy up, let me bring this guy up too. I didn't do it this way last time, just so you guys know. I did one area at a time, but basically there's a score line right here. I want to pinch it, and I want to pinch that one too. So I'm going to do those separately. We're going to start bringing these up. And pinchy, pinchy. Little pinch there, little pinch here. Okay, so now you can see those two. Now let me mess with this one a little bit, because this guy's over here. And I'm just going to start bending it, because that guy can come up. And this guy has a little pinchy line right here. There's a score line. I think technically they're called pinchy lines. And then here, we're just going to pick this last guy up, if I can. Hopefully I didn't glue him down. There we go. And his score line is on this side, and it's kind of going that direction. I don't know if you can see. But either way, just pinch it on the score lines. And now we can kind of start doing our thing, because now everything's kind of wanting to do what it needs to do, right? It's starting to fall in place. So let me give it another pinch as we're working, we're finagling, we're doing everything we need. We're also working this score line, right? So that's it. And then just kind of, I'm guiding it right now this first time because it's the first time it's doing this, and I don't want it to get messed up like that one. I can see it's scoring where it's not supposed to. Okay, that still looks good. And I'm looking at it like this, guys. I kind of have my head tilted so I can see in there, making sure things are folding right. Feels good. Oh, yep. All right, guys. And I am taking my time with this, so, you know, it's a little slow. And again, this will happen last time too. It just wants to pop open because you have 2 pieces of paper occupying that same spot. What's nice about this one, it works a little better as a pop-up because you have this space here that gives it some room to breathe. So it's only a little bit of areas that are actually occupying the same space. And that's it, you guys. And so now when we cut our pieces, we're gonna cut pieces that we're gonna stick here, we're gonna stick them here and here, not on these sides. That's all this is saying right here in step 8. So I guess I'm gonna grab some purple paper. I don't know, I'm just looking at this. It has purple on it. So let's do that. And I don't know. We'll get started, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm just gonna use some plain papers. You know, I love my gold and all those kind of things, and I feel like the other card I made the other day was also purple. Sorry, guys. It just happened that that's the paper I grabbed and it has purple. So I grabbed these are Recollections paper, cheap Michael's paper. Like, this is honestly the oldest paper I have, and I still haven't finished it, so not very thick, okay? But we'll do our best. I did, you know, I grabbed some green. It'll be interesting. I don't know if these greeneries are like the same as any of these. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, like this one, let's say, that we can pop this on top of this one. No, I thought maybe these might be similar. They're similar, but they're not the same. So that's not going to work. Because I was hoping that we can cover up some of the, you know, they're not the same. They're just extra pieces. So we'll see. I may or may not even use the green. Because for now what I'm going to do is cut out some of the flowers. So my background is going to be the purple, the dark purple, and then this pretty flower on top will be the light purple, and whatever you have to do to your machines to do embossing, I'm definitely going to do that because I want this texture. It's all going to be dark purple and light purple. I'm going to cut a few of them for this one for sure, because I feel like this is the one that should go here, because the way it touches, you know, the way you can touch that area. I don't know. That's just what I think. We will see. So I'm just going to cut out some random stuff. So these guys, all the backgrounds are going to be dark purple, and all these other ones are going to be the light purple, okay? And rubber embossed if I need to. And I'll be back. So good. What I was showing you, and it took me a little bit, is because I really, whenever I do this and I'm using like a machine where the second pass is the embossing, just so you get a real good emboss, I always try to put a good amount of tape in the area that's embossed, because you want it to hold on to it. Because when, you know, if you die cut it and the die cut moves, and then you're like, so that's what I was doing with this one, I kind of placed it back in place. Any little pieces that kind of move out, like as you're doing that, get rid of them, because if they go underneath your die, they will definitely imprint on your die cut. Hope that makes sense. What I'm saying is, like, when I did this, like this little piece, let's say that piece popped out and moved on me, just get rid of it, and then place back whatever you need to place, which would be the actual die. And I think just to give a little texture, we're going to do some embossing of these pieces. So let me get these guys out, and what I'm going to do is just run them through, let's see, I don't know. Should we use this one? This one's very fancy. We'll go with this one. So I'm just going to pop my pieces in and run them through, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I don't know what my neighbor's doing, but making a lot of noise out there. So I'm just going to run this through, finish that up. And I'm just going to layer these guys together. Again, if you like, you know, popping them up, whatever it is you want to do. But I just gave it some texture, so there's some texture on there. And we're just going to glue these guys down. So I will take some glue and glue all of our little characters to the background pieces, okay? And these are really nice and big, so far so good. Everything's great. I really like that mechanism was super easy to work with, and the flowers already, again, they're just simple flowers. I do kind of wish that these leaves that she put in there would echo these, but oh well. And again, some people, what they like to do is just cut the flower off and layer it up that way, but like I said, today I'm sticking to just basic mechanism, get that done, and then we'll go from there. I actually don't even know what I'm going to put on the front. Maybe we'll see. But okay, so I'm just going to take them all and layer them up. You guys have those stuck down. And if we bring this back again, you know, you're just going to glue things to these sides. So like I said, I wanted this big guy in the front, which is basically good. And so as you close it, he's going to shrink away and then come up, right? And you can obviously put tons more things. This guy's kind of big. Maybe he'll go in the back. And then this little guy can go like on here, and you know, you just have to kind of eyeball it. And then the reason I wanted to do this one first when I was doing the other, I went by her instruction, but because then you can see kind of what you're doing with the other pieces. But if there's more that you want to stick behind here, like let's say you want both of these together, you know, or this guy up on dimensionals coming off of this guy, and maybe this guy's, however you want to design it, of course. See, this guy's kind of small, that's why I feel like this guy was the one that goes up here. You know, it's whatever you want. And again, it just kind of waves open. So, you know, whatever it is that you want to do. I don't know if I want to cut greenery. And then I was thinking I have these Anna Griffin fern stickers. I thought maybe I can fill these in without having to cut more things right now, because I just kind of want to get it done and show you a little bit about the mechanism. So let me open this up and see if there's anything that would pop in here. Again, we have the flourish dies in there. I mean, there's a lot of things in this set, right? Which is really nice to finish off your card. But if I can pop some of these guys in there just to add some greenery that's different from what's going on here, that's what I want to do. So I'm going to go through this and see if there's anything that works, that strikes my fancy, you know? Little something here and there, or even back here. Okay, I'll be back. I think I might use some of the fern stickers. We'll see. One thing I did do, oh, actually I wanted this one back here, is that these are stickers, so they are double layered. So this one, what I did is I just peeled it apart. And I might still even use some of this to help me stick it down, but for now, I just pulled it apart. Okay, what I'm gonna do is stick these bigger pieces down, and then those other pieces I will kind of deal with. So I know I'm gonna put glue on this, because I know that's gonna be touching in there, and it touches here. I'm not covering up the whole thing, just in those areas, because that's where this is gonna be. And I'm going to hold it for a second because this is Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. It's not going to take too long to set up, but I also want to close it and make sure it doesn't stick out down here. So I'm just going to give it a few seconds to hold on. And as I push it, perfect. I can see a little bit of the stem here. Not enough to bother me, but if it does, you can just kind of pick it up a little bit. But I think I'm good. Like, that's fine. You see that? Take it out right there. Okay. So that'll be good. And again, like I said, it kind of waves, it comes up over here. It says hi from over here. So as that does that, you know, we have these other pieces that we can meet up the stems down here, or what do you want to do about the stems? That's kind of what I'm looking at right now. Okay, so let me see. Let me put that there, but if I was going to put one of these guys, let's say I'm going to put that guy there, and he brushes this way. Okay, so I'm going to stick this down. I'm not even going to take it apart, but I was just showing you could take it apart if you wanted to, right? So I'm just going to take a moment, guys, and just place glue. If you have more questions about it, you can watch the other video. What I'll probably do is put a little music here. But I'm placing this now so I can kind of see, but you can place these things afterwards, right? So you see where things are at, and you're like, oh, okay, that'll work. See, sticking out just a little bit, so I'm going to push it down a little bit more into this area. Okay, looks good. And that's all I'm going to do is just kind of place some glue, see what happens when that's closed, when this opens. Okay, so I'm going to put a little glue back here. And I'm going to place this little guy here. I'm going to hold it for a second. See what it looks like. I mean, that's all important, right? Seeing what it looks like from the front. kind of the view you guys are looking at. See what that would look like. Come on, buddy. So I do have to hold it for just a minute. Okay, there we go. I don't know that I really want the stem showing so much. But there we are. I'm going to hold it for just a little bit longer. Sorry, I know that doesn't make for super exciting TV, but I want to see where it's going. Okay, let's do that. Give it a good squish. Okay, so when I open this up, it's kind of out here. I can kind of see that bottom. That's not my favorite. But again, we can also cover things up with a little more of this or that, or put this here, however. Okay, and then this top one is going to go in here somewhere. Same thing. Same thing. I'm going to glue it down. I am going to put glue on this guy this time. So last time what I did was I kind of layered things up together and then I glued it down. But I'm going to see in here and see where do I want this sticking out on top of that. If it sticks out that far, where should it really go? So if you want to build it from bottom to top, go for it. However it is that's more comfortable for you. I feel like last time I ended up doing bottom up, but then I ended up actually sticking things down from the top down. Does that make sense? I went this way and then I went back the other way when I actually stuck things down. Because as you do this, you need to know that it will close and things aren't just sticking out. So that's pretty good. Again, I'm going to give a good push on those things. And when it opens up, it looks something like this. And this guy's just kind of sticking up in the back right there. But maybe I'll put a little fern behind him. That's kind of why I left this the way it was. Is it still sticky? I'm not sure. Let's see. Because I'm pretty sure I have to push this down really far. Again, this can be the leaves from the set, of course. Let's say I have that guy back there. And as I stick that down, I want to see and make sure that it's not going to be in the way or bothering anybody. Nope. Perfectly good. So I'm just going to continue building up my little my little pieces. Just tucking in some fern, you know, maybe I'll add one here. Maybe I'll have some on the actual card base. But again, you got to make sure that things are clearing everything that you put down, okay? Especially since this is a double layer sticker, you don't want something sticking to it. But I am bringing in things that aren't from the set. I just think, yeah, I mean, that's the basic thing, guys. That's the basic mechanism there. All right, I'll be back. Guys, I think that's all I'm doing for right now. I just put some little ferns here and there. I mean, not everywhere. You can still tuck things on the actual card base. Here would be a great place to write whatever sentiment. I have the tea set. I was like, oh, that'd be so cute to put some little tea things in here, like teacups. I don't know. But I think what I'm going to do is take some of these little swirl guys and just run them through. And I'm doing this with all kinds of different machines today. I'm just going to take this and just real quick, because somebody had asked, they're like, oh, like, what do I mean by that? Because if you haven't been around my channel for a long time, maybe you haven't seen this little trick with the marquee. It's super easy. And maybe you wouldn't use bright orange paper, but foam. This is just kids foam from like the dollar section at Walmart or wherever. The kids section, not really in the dollar section. Sometimes you find it at the Dollar Tree, which is really nice. I haven't seen it in a while at the Dollar Tree, like a couple years, at least not at mine. I'm just going to cut this piece like that. And I'm just cutting the paper and the foam. The foam is sitting behind, obviously, the paper. Die face down. And I'll just take one of my well-loved cutting folders here and just run this through. If I didn't let it go. Sorry, guys, I'm rolling a little fast. It kind of moves the camera, shakes the camera. And so now I have this piece that is perfectly die cut with the embossing and everything's great. You could have done this the whole time. And a lot of times I'll just keep reusing the foam because, like, I'll pop this off, let's say. And this time it did want to come out, but a lot of times when you have a larger item, it just kind of stays intact. And then I'll just come in with the next one. Which one did I just use? All right, good. So I'll come in with this next one. And if you want it to, you know, to help you pop up something on your card and you want to keep using that, go for it. I'll just come in and just use it again on the same piece of foam and just continue using it until it's completely destroyed. And that's just a little tip that you can do to not hurt your marquee because it cuts foam just fine. and not put too much pressure in there, and then you have this done. And some people say they just use 2 pieces of cardstock and it helps out too. So whatever it is that you like, but this really does give a really great impression. So, and I'll just get rid of that little piece. We can see there the embossing. And I'll be back. Okay guys, so I have my little pieces here. That one just held on. It wasn't even glued yet. I think I'm gonna place that there. And I'm just gonna stick sprigs here and there. So whatever ends up happening, that's what I'm gonna be happy with. Now let me put this. I am really happy with the set. It's easy to work with. Again, I already worked with the other one, so I guess I was kind of familiar with it a little bit. But this is really fun. So I'm going to hold that down until it stays a little bit. And again, check it. Just make sure it's not, you know, sticking out too far. Over here, it's a little bit sticking out. So let's just move this down a little bit. If I can now. So Nuvo Deluxe adhesive sets up really fast, and it just depends on the type of paper you're using. So if it's very waxy, it's going to take a little bit longer, but if it's really porous, it just sucks it up. Anyway, you see what I'm doing. I'm going to keep working with this and moving it until I would like to see it. I don't want it to be just completely hidden, but at the same time it does stick out. Okay, there it goes. That's as much as I can get off that one. And again, I'll just, you know, this little guy here. Let me make sure this one, yeah. And I'm going to eyeball and see where I can place this until it's not showing and all that. So I'll just tuck them in, same as we've been doing. Gosh, you guys, I'm having so much fun with this. It was fun because, I mean, you have to test it, right? But it looks so cute. Every little bit of extra stuff that you add here. Again, these little swirly things are from the flourishes, are from the set. And then I didn't add any leaves because they're just leaves, but you know, I just really wish that they were the kind of leaf that if you cut it, you can just pop it on here and it would help you with that, but they're not. They're a totally different design. But that doesn't mean you can't just add it in. I mean, they show images, I think, that way. Like this guy, they did cut like the head off and put it on the green backing, and then there's just leaves tucked in here and there. These are all gold leaves here and there. I just didn't want to do lavender and lavender leaves, so that's just, you know, have them sticking out of here. Again, you have to be very strategic about where you place them so it's not sticking out everywhere all around the side and then when you open it. But look at this little guy. He's like so open that he touches this area over here. So pretty cute. All right. I don't know what I'm going to put on the front of this, and that's not what this video is really about. So I'm just going to pick something, and then maybe we'll pop another one of these roses on the front, and I'll be right back. So I pulled out one of my china cabinet boxes because I know that they're circular and it should fit. Actually, I should check that before I start talking about it. Yay! Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is just like this one, super delicate in the beige color that I used earlier. Again, it's going to be kind of see-through, and see how I cleaned this out from the last time I used it? Totally. I'm on top of it, guys. Look at this. So I'm going to run this through because it does its own thing, and then I'll probably run through another rose with the purple and then the lavender, just like this. And we'll go from there. So I'll be right back, guys. So let's see what we got here. I just cut this guy out and embossed it and all that. So it's going to be really stuck in here. Oh my gosh, you guys, I need to use this more often. Look at that. I didn't even clean it. It's, you know, I cleaned the dye, but what I'm saying is I didn't clean this out. Obviously, I just popped it on here. And we're going to put that there, and then maybe this little flower here, I guess, and then some kind of something over here. Again, I wasn't really trying to focus on this too much. So let's think. Do I want to pop that? Yeah, sure. I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this and on the back of this, and I'll be right back. And usually, well, not usually. Sometimes I leave the sentiment off because I don't know what I'm going to use it for yet, and I don't want to do all this work and then not use my cards. So I'm probably just going to put this on here just so we have an idea. And then this little guy. And then, you know, whatever sentiment you want die cut, you have your stickers, whatever else. I just wanted to put this on here. I don't know if I should put it straight up and down. I always like to put things kind of crooked. So I feel like this should be like here. And then I'll put my sentiment over here somewhere whenever I'm ready to do that. So just a quick way to finish this up, just to finish up the card a little bit. And there it is. So, you know, again, I already tried the other pop-out this one, so like I kind of knew what to expect. It is very lovely when you already have it cut out for you, I'm not gonna lie, because you already have all your choices and everything's made. Very different, as you can see where this one's handmade, like all the selections, right? The papers and everything else. So just, you know, a different feel. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope that was fun to watch and maybe it answered some of your questions, or you're able to see kind of how this works. And again, this kind of swishes up where this doesn't move too much. So as you're building, you know, maybe you want to add a little more something over here. Maybe put it on top of this guy or out this way. But just know that it doesn't really move that much. So it kind of comes out this way when you're closing it. You just have to watch out for that. But other than that, you can tuck more here and here, and then everything else. But alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll have images coming up. I'll have links in the description box. So now that I know how to kind of work this, I think we're only going to go up from here. Alright guys, so I'll see you at the next one. Bye now.